everybody.
I'm Mo.
And I'm Katie, and this is the Mo and Katie Show. We really think that you could use a dose of gratitude, humor, and positivity today, so we are here to bring it to you. You may have tuned in to find out what the pollen count is outside today. Maybe. We don't know. We don't have that kind of information.
All right.
That is something going on in the world, but it's not what we're going to talk about today. So, Mo, tell them what's going on in the world today.
I picked this story just for you.
For me?
Yes. Para usted. Okay, so you have a sibling and you guys are both from Ohio, yes? Okay,
Correct.
so this is about a brother and a sister. They were on a road trip from Ohio to Indiana 5 years ago. For whatever reason, her future wedding came up into conversation. And the older brother, being the good older sibling that he was, promised her that when she did get married, he was going to bring a llama as his guest. And she recently got married. He paid $400 to rent a sweet and well-behaved llama, and llama's name was Shocky. Then he got a custom tuxedo made, and the llama sat by him during the wedding.
Let me clarify. You said the llama spit by him at the wedding?
You're going to have to pack in your bag now. Oh, God, I screwed that up too. Never mind. I'll pack in my bags. I don't know why I wasn't, but I was not expecting a pun. So thanks for that.
You should always expect a pun.
I know what it is. I'm off my game.
Two Mo and Katie shows ago, we were wearing our llama shirts, so that's very much on brand for us.
It's apparently we have a mascot now. It's a llama.
Maybe we could have another mascot.
I'm gonna have to ask you to stop doing that.
In other news, in the state of Utah, which the capital is Salt Lake City, just in case
No, we're not doing state capitals. We are not doing state capitals. Take it back.
Okay. In the state of Utah, which the capital is unknown, there was a highway patrol officer who was driving and saw a driver who was swerving and at times driving too slow, driving too fast, just driving erratically. And the state trooper was concerned that this driver was having like a medical issue or something. So he turned on the lights. The driver didn't respond, put on the siren. Finally, the car pulled over. So the officer got out hoping to help this driver. But what he found when he got to the driver's door was a 5-year-old boy, driving like a 5-year-old would be expected to be driving. The little boy was driving to California to see his sister because he wanted to buy a Lamborghini. And he had $3 in his wallet that he was planning with which to buy this Lamborghini. The boy's name was Adrian, and he'd never driven a car before.
Sorry.
He had never driven a car before, so he just got the keys and figured it out somehow. But thankfully no one was hurt, and the family has vowed to keep better track of their car keys and their vehicles and their 5-year-old.
Well, and probably their choice of babysitters.
Probably, yes. But this has probably, accelerated the experiences that he's had in life.
That's true. But yeah, so I think the real takeaway is if you have narcolepsy, don't be a babysitter.
Yeah, she definitely didn't steer him in the right direction.
Oh gosh. Let's shift gears to something else.
These are the jokes, people. All right. Well, I know there's a lot of things in life that you love, Mo, and I know that you love quirky, weird facts. So this is a weird fact about space.
Okay.
Final frontier. So if you got in your car and you turned on the ignition, so speaking of cars, so maybe Adrian could try this next time. Instead of driving to California, he could drive to space. If you drove your car into the atmosphere at 60 miles an hour, it would only take you an hour to drive into space.
Well, I know, but space technically starts at what, 50,000 feet?
I don't know. You're the pilot. You should know this stuff.
All right, I'm going to ask Sandra Bullock. She was an astronaut in Gravity, so I will check with her
Totally
or Matt Damon in The Martian.
I was just going to say Matt Damon because he lived on Mars in a movie. So there's that.
I'm going to tell you what today is. And this is
Please
also,
do because I don't know what day it is anymore.
I picked this for you. Today is many days, but one of the days today is buy a musical instrument day.
Is it really?
It is. So
That's really cool.
if you don't have a musical instrument, I'm not saying go to your utensil drawer and get 2 spoons. That doesn't really count. So on Buy a Musical Instrument Day, you should go out and buy a musical instrument. Now, if you already have a musical instrument, today would be the day you should learn to play the musical instrument.
So can I tell you real quick about the last musical instrument that I bought? The last musical instrument that I bought is a plastic flute for kids who are learning to play. Mine is green.
It looks like a snorkel.
It actually sounds somewhat like a silver flute. So.
That's the first time I've ever heard you play a flute.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I don't know that song you just played, but yeah, sounds good.
Well, it was interval actually, but yeah. So yeah, so this actually, it's
I don't know.
coloring with the
I don't know which is worse, having to do state capitals with you possibly, or having some kind of music theory crap thrown in here at my face.
Well, I appreciate being given the opportunity though to show my really cool plastic flute. So
hang on. Actually, I wanted to tell you one more thing. This is a quirky fact. This is a good quirky fact. Leave the scuba gear out. Let me see. Historians believe that the flute is one of the oldest instruments that was created by humans. Did you know that?
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that. But it kind of makes sense because I guess you can make it out of a hollowed piece of bone or stick or something like that. So I guess that makes sense.
What is that? Your flute? No, this is my Aunt Edna. This is her femur. Why did you say bone?
Would you like me to play?
Hey, stop playing with your brother.
Would you like me to play the Star Spangled Banner on Aunt Edna's femur?
Femur.
That may be the weirdest sentence I've ever said in my life.
Femur. Trying to forget my.
Oh my goodness.
Femur of bone. Femur. Bone, bone, bone. Femur. Oh Lord, it's the part of the show when we digress to something. Okay, so be thankful, keep laughing, and stay positive.
No, we're not done yet.
Oh, I'm done.
Let's move on. Today we are going to talk about pets.
Pets. I like pets.
Yay! We actually have a feline fan. I think she's perfect, to be honest with you.
Why did I know you were going to use some sort of pun for this segment?
So our number one feline fan is a cat named Putty, as in Putty Cat.
Aww.
And Putty belongs to our friend Betty, who is a fellow barbershopper. Putty waits in front of the computer every week, every Friday, for the new episode of the Mo and Katy show. It gives us some really warm felines that she watches the show every week.
And I think it'd be really cool if we had some more pictures of other, well, not necessarily just feline fans, but any four-legged furry fans.
Four-legged furry fans.
That would be a phenomenal photo. That doesn't work with the alliteration.
Ooh.
Does alliteration?
Oh, it did because they're both PH. That was really good.
I know. Pet me. Does alliteration work? Is it letters or is it the sound?
That is a very good question, and I
was
not
hoping
know
you
the
had
answer
an
to
answer.
it. I apologize. I do not.
State capital, music theory, and grammar.
Stay in my lane. I gotta stay in my lane.
Well, grammar's your lane. It's a lane that you're comfortable in. Watch this. Do you have anything to say about that? I just kind of dangled something in front of you. I just wondered if you picked up on it.
Oh, you dangled a participle. Not cool.
Yes.
My first question to you, Mo, is what is your earliest memory of having a pet? What was like your first pet that you had?
So when I was born, my family already had a dog named Kona, and I don't know when my first like conscious memory of Kona is, but I remember he had a dog house in the back, and he would always jump up on the dog house, and he was a black and white dog, kind of reminded me of Snoopy, but he would always sit on his dog house. And I've had a dog my entire life. So right now we've got three animals here. We've got two dogs and a cat, but the cat we have is a Maine Coon, and he's like kind of dog-like, and he's the same size as the other two dogs. But so because you guys have three pets, well, you have four
We
technically.
do. We have three. Well, four if you count the fish, but we have yes. I don't know how we ended up with three dogs, but we have three dogs, and I love them all. They're very sweet, and they're bigger. I got big guys, and they like bigger dogs, so we have bigger dogs around. I've always wanted like a little lap dog, but that just has never happened yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, find smaller friends. Do your dogs sleep in bed with you? I'll go first. I'll go first. We used to have a queen size bed, and the dogs would sleep in the bed with us, and we didn't have a lot of room. So we went and upgraded to a king size bed, and we still don't have a lot of room.
If my dogs weren't so pushy and space hungry, I would be more willing to have the dogs in our bed more often.
Do your dogs snore?
Yes, not it's not horrible. Not like your dog snores, I'll tell you that much.
I can be at 2 floors away, and I can still hear the dog snore.
Yes. We'll be FaceTiming and I will hear your dog snore. Your dog snores.
So I have a mini English bulldog, and we've
Wow.
had him since he was 12 weeks old. Except for the couple of couches he's eaten, he is the socks that he steals and the intimates he steals, and also
Yeah, what's up with that? Why?
I don't know.
Go
Anyway,
ahead.
well, we store bacon in ours, so I don't know if maybe that's why. Yeah, now we have Dozer, and he is a French bulldog, and he is a year and a half, and he is all puppy. And then, oh yeah, then we have the cat. His name is Pito. He's a Maine Coon, and he is about 25 pounds, and he looks like a small puma.
We have Raven, who is a boxer pit mix, and she is the fastest dog I've ever seen in my life. She climbs small trees. She actually had an incident a few years ago where she ran into a trailer hitch and broke her leg and had to have surgery. And she can run as fast now as she did that. Then we have Bo, who's just this big mushy lump of brindle love. And our oldest son's dog is Nala, and she's half poodle, part German Shepherd, part Belgian. I never say it right. Malinois. Yes, so we have Baltimore themed dog names. So yes, Bo is named after Natty Bo, National Bohemian Beer, which used to be brewed here in Baltimore. That was our son picked that name. And then Raven after the Baltimore Ravens, but we spell it with an I because I never get to name girls, so I just thought I'd put a little flair to it. So
Okay. Well, so speaking of flair, Dozer, although he appears like a girl, is not a girl, but Dozer, the O in his name has an umlaut over it, and only because
it
I
does.
wanted a dog with an umlaut. So, sorry, I'm
And
sorry.
you have one.
Hang on. I didn't want a dog with an umlaut. I wanted a dog name with an umlaut. So I didn't. I just. I don't even know what a
It
dog
doesn't have
umlaut
spots
looks
above
like.
his head where he runs around.
Yeah. So
What's that? That's his umlaut. Don't
I tell you, excuse me, your umlaut is showing. Thank you. As long as you can't hear it. Show us some photos of your phenomenal furry fans watching the Mo and Katy show. That would be fantastic. What if somebody had like an iguana and that it's not really a furry fan, but like I want to be inclusive, so I want to say that if you have a snake or an iguana, any kind of pet that you have, I think the weirder the better.
Well, and I didn't talk about my other pet, my beta fish Sulfie, who lives on my dresser.
In a tank on your dresser or just on the dresser?
She just slides around on the dresser. she's freestyling it. One of my piano students gave her to me as a gift. She's a half moon female beta fish, and I named her Solfeggio, which is a music term, and I call her Sulfie for short.
Does the fish swim around in her tank?
She does.
Does she swim in like circles of fifths or? I got nothing.
It is major when she does.
I have a minor beef with that just because I don't have the staff to help me with these jokes.
Yay, music pun!
Yeah, I want it noted that I played along.
Let's move on to our Swedish round.
Swedish round.
Not to be confused with
Swedish.
our Swedish round.
We're going to do the Swedish round. Okay, so this speed round is called What's That Thing? Okay? What's that thing that you drink out of in a public place?
Drinking fountain?
Okay, so some people say a bubbler, some people say a water fountain. Yeah, so yeah. How do you pronounce the liquid that you pour over pancakes or waffles?
I'm gonna go with syrup.
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 Okay, so um, the word Caramel, how many syllables does that have?
So I grew up saying caramel, but now I prefer caramel. I don't know if it makes me feel more fancy, but I say and actually my friend Jess and I are particular about this. We've had discussions about this, that it is caramel, not caramel.
What's that thing you wear on your feet for general athletic activities? For sports ball?
I call them tennis shoes.
Okay, I call them sneakers. Okay, what's that thing called that looks like a little crustacean that you find like in the river?
We used to call them crawdads.
I call them mud bugs.
That sounds like an insult. Your mom's a mud bug.
She is actually. How did you? I'm part crustacean.
Son of a mud bug.
Yeah. Look, don't make me crabby. Okay. What are those little bugs that fly in the summer that light up?
I grew up calling them lightning bug, but I know people call them fireflies as well.
That's what we call them, fireflies. What do you call a sugary carbonated drink?
So I've retaught myself to call it soda, but growing up it was pop.
Both wrong. It's Coke. Hey, do you want a Coke? Yeah, what kind? Dr. Pepper. What do you call your mom's sister?
Aunt.
Yep, that's correct. What's that circly thing at intersections where there, could be a four-way stop?
My first answer is roundabout.
Yep. What's your second answer?
Traffic circle.
Okay. What's that thing when people sell their household items?
I think I use yard sale now too, but we called them garage sales growing up.
What fell?
My plastic flute.
Do you need to get it? No. What do you call the end piece of a loaf of bread?
The heel.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you call it?
The butt?
Seriously? You call it the bread butt?
No, I don't call it the bread butt. I call it the butt. You're such a heel.
I always thought it was just, I've never heard it called anything but the heel. When my kids were little and I knew they didn't like that piece, I would peanut butter the heel side and put it together so they wouldn't know they were eating it.
Yeah, you put peanut butter on the butt.
You touched the butt.
You made me ink. Okay. What do you call the colorful embellishments you put on ice cream?
Here in Baltimore, they call them jimmies, but I grew up calling them sprinkles.
Yeah. What's that thing called? It's a piece of candy on a stick.
I grew up calling it a sucker, and I get weird looks when I call it that. People are like, "A what?" And I grew up I called it a sucker when I was a kid. I called it a sucker. What do you call the piece of furniture that's in your living room that has a cushion on it and you sit on?
The couch?
My grandmother used to call it a Davenport, and I don't know if that's a brand name or like someone's last name.
So speaking of brand names, when you go to sneeze and you grab something, what do you grab?
I grew up calling them Kleenex, and I've trained myself to say tissue instead.
Well, that's all I got.
So as you know, here on the Mo and Katy show, we value gratitude, humor, like to have a little fun, and positivity. So I want to share with you a quote about gratitude. It's a funny thing about life. Once you begin to take note of the things you are grateful for, you begin to lose sight of the things that you lack. And that is by Germany Kent. It's easy to focus on what we don't have, but it's so much more gratifying to focus on what we do have.
All right. So I will close by saying, be thankful, keep laughing, and stay positive.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye. Send us pictures of your feline or your furry friends.
We want to see the babies.
Yeah, show us the babies. Bye.
Bye.
Is she cute? Okay. You started it.
Uh, no. We're talking over each other.
I know. If I'm slow to respond to jokes, it's not because I didn't get them. It's just because I'm late in hearing them.
It's fine.
But I think they're funny, and I will have something funny to.
Or it's because of my advanced sense of humor.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's definitely the lag.
Oh my gosh, you need to stop.
Why do you put up with me? My whole goal is to make you fall off of that stool.
It's gonna happen.
Again, goals.
I love it when you crinkle. It's so fantastic. So, okay. Crack myself up. All right.
Don't fall off your stool.
Well, it's always a possibility. Okay, here we go.